What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today, we are bringing you our favorite albums of April 2023. And Dylan, in my opinion, April so far has the best albums of the year, just in terms of volume. What are your thoughts?
I think March might edge it out a little bit, but let's say quality over quantity.
All right, so we're going to get straight into it. I know you guys hate the long intros, so we got Frenzel Ramen right off the bat. One of Dylan and I, they're our favorite bands. We're doing the tier list next week. We both ordered the album from Australia, which came early. Nice signed cover, gray and black vinyl, right? We're going to hit the Cup of Pestilence. And Dylan, right now, this is probably my favorite record of the year, even though next week is probably only going to be in my A or B tier. Frenzel album, it's still number one for me overall. What do you have to say about this one?
Definitely gonna be in the top three. I don't know about number one just yet. But it's a great album. It took a little teensy bit to grow on me. About 5 to 10 listens before I was totally locked in. I do think it's not a downgrade, but it's kind of a lateral movement from High Vis and Smoko. Definitely has the same vibe as those two albums, but it's Frenzel Ramen. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, and the album art's killer too. But my favorite songs, I think, at this point, because it's still only like 2 weeks old, Gone to the Dogs, Dead Man's Underpants, Instant Coffee, and How to Make Gravox. So right now are my favorite tracks on here.
I'll go with Gone to the Dogs, definitely number one, and then Those People is probably the funniest song on the album.
All right, so we'll move along here. I'm going to hit one of my picks here. This is probably my number two or three album of the year so far. I'm just really connecting with this record here. We got Brutal Youth. Rebuilding Year is the album. This is like a mix of Kid Dynamite, Suicide Machines, a little bit of Wilhelm Scream thrown in. It's raw, aggressive, but it's still got super catchy choruses on here. I haven't been listening to a ton of heavier music this year. It's been like very pop punk and like metallic skate punk heavy year so far. So this kind of like mixed it up for me. And I think every song on this album so far is really good. My favorite track on here, Concentric. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but that's a killer song. Post-tour depression, Egg Sucking Dog, all good tracks on here. Dylan, have you given this one a listen yet?
I gave it a preliminary scan. I got to listen to it more. We've been this last week or so has been real hectic, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to listen to new stuff. But yeah, these guys have been around a while. They've always been in that like same camp of like melodic hardcore with some other bands like After the Fall and like you said, Kid Dynamite. So I'll have to listen to it more to form a real opinion about it.
All right, so up next, we've got Punk Rock Radar alum. Dylan and I both have this on our best of list. Why don't you take us through what you think of Ailments, Dylan?
Yeah, the Clayface, their first album. It's a mix of orgcore and I want to say more like Lawrence Arms-ish, some like 2010s Dead to Me kind of feel. But the overarching theme throughout the album is definitely orgcore. These guys sound like a fest band, but they're from Manchester, UK. So maybe they'll make the venture across the pond to Gainesville, Florida someday and do what they were destined to do. But yeah, it's a great album. My favorite song is probably the lead single, The Big Things Happen at Greenfield Skate Park. But there's a lot of faster, more Lawrence Arms-ish kind of songs that are also great too.
Yeah, that's my favorite track on here. as well. That's what I wrote down. It's like Midwest sounding punk from the UK. No Idea Records, It's Alive Records feel. Like you said, Lawrence Arms, Banner Pilot, Dillinger 4. If you like any of those bands, go check this out. And we've got the vinyl for pre-order on punkrockradar.com. Only like 10 copies left. So if you like it, go pick it up. And we will move along. All right. So this finally shows up. I remember for a while, if you typed Not, it was very hard to find this band. But we've got Not, Stop the World, came out a few weeks ago on Wiretap Records. So Dylan, we are eventually going to do the Descendants and all tier list. If we did, this would be like a contender for S tier on those lists. Like I can't believe how well they nailed the all sound on here. And I think Unfuck the World as it sits right now is probably my favorite track. It reminds me a lot of I'm the One from Everything Sucks. I wrote down Allison, but apparently that's not a song. But Stop the World is another good track on here. What are your thoughts about this one?
Perhaps you meant Alien, not Allison. I don't know. I think there's a song that says Allison in the lyrics.
Yeah.
This reminds me a lot of Chad Price era, especially Mass Nerder and Problematic. This sounds like a direct continuation of that sound. Obviously they did all this with the intention of kind of mimicking the all sound. They did it very well, but without sounding like stale or unoriginal. I think they put their own spin on it just enough for it to be just different enough. But it's a great album. It's going to be in my top 10 of the year. Hopefully they repress it because everyone should have this in their collection. I got the first pressing, but it sold out really fast, so that's good.
Yeah, I missed out, so I'm hoping they repress it too. Yeah, and when we say like it sounds like all Descendants, not a dig. If bands could easily like recreate Dookie or Punk and Drublic, I'm sure they would, but it's just not that easy. But these guys just nailed that all sound. So go check out Stop the World if you're into anything Bill Stevenson has touched. I think you will definitely like this. Unfuck the world. There's a ticking time bomb about to blow. Unfuck the world. So moving along here, Dylan. Wasai, they're from Italy. This is their album Vulgar Misplay of Burkett. We don't know what the album title means. I should have asked them, assuming it's something related to No Effects.
We need Fat Mike's comment on this.
But yeah, this album, we're gonna have this on Punk Rock Radar too on pink vinyl. We'll be doing some of the distro for it. But what are your thoughts on this one here?
It's a great album with a very perplexing album title.
It's like Pantera or like a little bit too, like Vulgar Display of Power. I'm not sure.
I just don't get it, honestly. But the music is great. So don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge Wasai's album by its title. Classic 90s Epitaph sound. Skate punk. We like skate punk here, and this is the latest one we threw on our bucket. We're gonna draw from at the end of the year, I'm sure. I don't know if it's a top 10 for me, but it's a great album. My favorite song is probably Punk Police, and I will be. You will see an order for this from me when it goes up on your web store.
Yeah, a couple times on here, I was checking because I was like, is this Mike Herrera singing? Like, there's certain parts, like in Call to Arms in particular, I was hearing a ton of MXPX, a ton of No Effects. I really like this record. It's one of my favorites of the year so far. So yeah, I'll keep an eye out for your order and hopefully more people watching. We will have, I think, 20 copies of the pink vinyl. This is Wasai, Vulgar Misplay of Burkett. That's And moving along now, Dylan, we got one of your picks. We've got Debunker.
Yeah, we got a buy one, get one free org core records this month. This is another one. Doesn't sound exactly like the Clayface one, but definitely in that same vein. I would say it leans more towards early Banner Pilot, like the first Banner Pilot EP, Past the Poison. This has a very similar vibe to that, just real fast and, like really not really sloppy, but not like polished either. So if you like that early Banner Pilot stuff, their first record and their first EP, definitely check out Debunker from Texas and their first album, Misfortunes.
All right, now I'm gonna let you take us right into the next one. Another one of your picks here. Fool's Errand, Big Up the Impact.
Yeah, I don't normally listen to like oi or street punk, but these guys are great. I checked them out on a whim. They submitted a thing to Dying Scene, and I saw it in the inbox about this album. Another not quite as confusing album title as the other one, but I don't know what this title means. Yeah, they're from Las Vegas. The album is great. If you like Bombshell Rocks, that's the band I would most compare this to, but they play a lot faster than Bombshell Rocks at times. Also like Rancid, Cocksparrer, all that kind of stuff. About half the songs are kind of slow, like, pub rock kind of stuff, like with the ois, and then the rest of them are like really, really fast. I like the fast songs better, but the whole album is great.
All right, so I'm gonna hit two of mine quick. My first one up, I've got Bedspin, Liminal Spaces. These guys are from Carbondale, Illinois, just like one of my favorite bands. The Copyrights.
The Copyrights. I was gonna say the Dopamines.
They're from Carbondale too. Yeah. So
no, I don't think they are. I think the Copyrights only.
All right. Yeah, and the Copyrights would be my best comparison for this album. It's got a real Red Scare vibe, traditional pop punk with a little Ramones core flavor. The last album is really good too. Waste My Time, Choose to Lose, Brain Dead are my picks off here. This one I've only listened to a handful of times. Dylan and I were in Dallas all last week, so I haven't listened to a ton of music lately, but this is one of the ones on the plane I was really listening to. I think they've got vinyl, cassette, and CD on their Bandcamp, so go check it out if you like the Copyrights and support them. My second one, I'm going to hit another traditional pop punk band.
Yeah, we both got this one.
I typed Oldie Hawn just out of habit. So Dylan and I both picking this one. We got Oldie Hawn, Missing Time. For me, Dylan, it's in the vein of like Shield, Monster Zero style pop punk, Ramones, traditional style pop punk. It's super catchy, well produced. What are your favorite tracks and things about this one?
Favorites probably To Agnes, because that's the first song I heard. And then I can't name all of them, but there's some that have more of a Willingtons-ish kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I gotta check out that Bedspin album. I completely missed that one, but yeah, this one is great too, and I definitely agree with the Shield recordings, Monster Zero, that newish kind of resurgence of 90s pop punk bands. I've got something to say to you,
All right, and up next, Dylan, we want to take us through. This is probably the most different sounding record on here. We got Fights, Scampy Rock. This album came out April 21st. What do you like about this one?
Yeah, I talked about these guys last month or a month or two ago. They had a single, and they had a few singles, and I was not Serenity Now was the one I heard. And I didn't know they had an album coming out, actually. So when I saw this pop up on the Punk Rock Museum's New Music Friday post on the albums, I was like, holy shit, these guys, they had an album. And yeah, the whole album's awesome. It's like they call it boogie core, which I guess is hardcore and boogie rock, which I didn't know was really a thing. But I would say it's like Motorhead if they were a punk band with like synthesizers and like weird like theremins and stuff, like just kinds of like experimental, you know, like 70s rock stuff going on. It's really cool though and really different. And I'm proud of myself for expanding my horizons with fights. These guys are awesome.
Yeah, it's a rad record. I'm not sure what clip we're gonna play up. I'll let you decide. You guys should definitely check out this album if you're looking to mix it up a little bit.
I know you think you know it all. You fucking know it all. Yes, you do.
So Dylan, I'm gonna let you walk us quickly through the EP picks. What do you have first up?
We got Teenage Bottle Rocket with their new 7-inch So Dumb / So Stoked. These are 4 songs from their last album. I can't remember the name. 6 Sesh. 4 songs that didn't make the album. I didn't like that album very much, to be honest. It's kind of mediocre. I think most of these songs are better than anything on the album. I don't know why these didn't make the cut. My favorite is It Wasn't Enough. That has like a early, like Another Way kind of vibe, but obviously a lot more polished. Yeah. Then we got from Australia, our second Australian band, The Mouths. This band is like members of other pop punk bands from Australia, the Remingtons, who we talked about a few months ago with their album Atfoot, some other bands. 6-song EP. If you like Ramones core, this is definitely one you got to check out. There's a ton of great hooks on this album. One that is flown under a lot of people's radar. It's also available on vinyl from Hey Pizza Records, everyone's favorite label. And then we got FFG, which I'll let John talk about this one real quick.
Yeah, so this band I heard like a few years ago when I was looking for bands that sounded like Blink-182 when I got into Edge of the World. This is their newest EP, Pushing Boulders Uphill. If you like Blink-182's Untitled, if you like Plus 44, this is a must listen. I guarantee you it's going to be way better than what Blink-182 shits out this year. That is a lock from me. Take it to the bank. If you like Untitled Blink-182, go listen to this album right now. And then the last one, Dylan, is Long Distance, right? That's our last pick.
Yeah, back to Australia. Another band that sounds a lot like late 90s, early 2000s Blink, somewhere between Take Off Your Pants and the self-titled album. One of these songs is more like a skate punk vibe, but 3 out of the 4 is definitely like that mid-period Blink-182 kind of feel, and I think they do it really well. The songs are great.
Yep. Yeah, I really like this one too, though. All the EPs were solid. I'm glad you mentioned that about 6 Sesh. That's my least favorite Teenage Bottle Rocket album. That was such a bummer when it came out. And eventually we're going to do that tier list, and that will be my D tier album. Spoiler alert. So, all right, so let's wrap it up quick, Dylan. What are our best singles of the month?
All right, 2 singles from upcoming releases to start us off. We got Jughead's Revenge, the second single from their comeback EP Vultures. This song is called Bridges. It's a lot more pop punky than the first song they released. Still very good though. Then we got Rancid, which caught me by surprise. The title track from their upcoming album, Tomorrow Never Comes. A lot of people saying this is like a return to form for them, and I agree. It's better than anything on the last two albums. Then we got Ink Bomb from Norway. This is off an album they're working on, but they haven't finished yet. It's called Theme Song. The music video is really fun. Kind of has like a no fun at all-ish vibe that I really like. These guys are awesome. Then we got Acid Snot from Spain. These guys released an album in 2016 and then kind of just fell off the map. They're back now. They're on Thousand Islands and Lockjaw Records, and this is their first single in 7 years, and it's great. Skate punk. Then we got Rehasher, Roger from Less Than Jake. He's continuing to drip feed singles. This is his latest one. Not as like balls to the wall like skate punk as Rehasher normally is, but still very enjoyable. Almost sounds like it could be like a Less Than Jake song. But yeah, great song. And then we got another skate punk band who's been around for a bit, Flying Frogs. They've been putting out singles from an album they're putting out soon called What the Fuck Is Going On Melodic Punk Style Records. I think this is the second single. Great song. They have like a dual vocalist thing where one guy sings the verses and the other sings the choruses. I think it works really well. Then we got Borderlines, their new single, How Many Hours, from their upcoming album, Keep something. I can't remember what it's called. Great pop punk band, old school lookout style pop punk. Looking forward to their album. And then last two here, we got Strike 12, their upcoming album on Thousand Island Records, Last Band Standing. This is the first single. Smartphones, Stupid People. Really fun song, and it's a lot more witty than its title would suggest. You would think it's like kind of low-hanging fruit, like smartphones bad, but it's really not. I think it's pretty clever. The music video is fun. And then last up, we got High Standard. I'm a Rat. This is the last song they recorded before their drummer, Akira Sunioka, I believe was his name, before he passed away, unfortunately, earlier this year. I think the song was written by Fat Mike, if the credits on Spotify and YouTube Music are to be believed. But yeah, great skate punk song. Totally recaptures the vibe of albums like Making the Road and Angry Fist, my two favorite High Standard albums. Great song, excellent drummer. Really sucks that he passed away. But this is a fitting send-off, I would say. They're also releasing a 7-inch for the song, and all the profits from that are going to be donated to his family by Fat Records. So that's awesome too.
Man, yeah, dude, that was like a stack of great singles, and yeah, this might be one of my favorite High Standard songs. I instantly connected with this one, so fitting send off, like you said. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up, guys. We'll have clips of the singles after this. You can check them out. Let us know what you think. If we missed anything, which I know we did, because I had 6 or 7 more albums on my list that we couldn't fit in here. But let us know in the comments if we didn't say it, and we'll check it out for sure. But Dylan, anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
I've been on stage and I've been in jail. I've had the brass ring and I fucking failed. Gonna cheat, steal, and borrow. Just a money I got tomorrow. So few break the mold, you know, so down the rabbit hole we go. So when the thumbs go away, I'm a rat, I don't wanna hear you sermon. I'm a vermin, and I always get a melting. I know we aggravate you, I'm a annihilated by social leverage. Like said, cynical mind strip from courage.
Yeah, check out the Spotify playlist that we're updating every month with songs from all these releases and the singles. And then also check out on dyingscene.com. Will also be linked in the description. My written column with all of my picks on it for albums, EPs, and singles. And on there will be the Bandcamp players for the full albums, as well as links to where you can buy the physical releases or download the digital copy of the album. That's all linked in the description of this video. Otherwise, thanks everyone for checking out another video, and we'll see you again in May.